Hey everyone! So we're going to be starting text features this week. First, we need to talk about what are text features. And really, text features, it's exactly what it sounds like. So we're talking about different things within your passages, different things within your textbooks, like your science book or your history book, different features within maybe an article that you're reading on the internet that maybe go more in depth into what you're reading or give you more information. So, for example, one that we'll talk about later this week is a bullet point. And I'm using that one because I figure you probably have all seen a bullet point before. And they put things into a list. That is an example of a text feature. So when we're talking about text features, we're not just talking about a paragraph or just one page of reading within your favorite book. Really, these text features are, they're really cool. They're different types of features. They're different things that you can find within your pages, typically your textbook, sometimes on the internet, like I said, that just give you a little more information. So we're going to go over a few each day. Today we're going to start with the title page, and I'm sure you have all seen a title page before. It's the very first page within your book typically, and it's the page inside a book that tells the title and the publisher information. So this is not the actual cover of the book. This is the page that as soon as we turn that cover of the book, we see vegetables. That means vegetables is the title of the book. And then I look down, I see Joel G. Jones. That is the author. Below that, we see Paris, France in 2013. So that means it was published in Paris, and then it was published in 2013. Sometimes you'll see the actual the publisher, as in maybe a company or something like that. That's also part of the publishing information. So here's another example. So you open the book and you see Becoming Butterflies. That means Becoming Butterflies is the title of this book. Typically, they'll have this illustration or this picture, and that is mostly taken from the actual cover of the book. So that's also how you can figure out what this page is. Then it says by Anne Rockwell, pictures by Megan Halsey. So we know who the author is now and who the illustrator is. Down here we see Walker & Company, New York. So Walker & Company is the publisher. All right, sometimes it'll say a year down there, like the last one said 2013, but that's all part of the publishing information. Next, we have a table of contents. You'll see this in probably every chapter book you've ever read. All right, it's also part of your textbooks at school. And sometimes you'll see it in, let's say, maybe a cookbook. You'll see it on maybe a book online. And it's just, it separates the chapters in the book and puts them into a list. So if this one, we're looking at this one, it says the first one is the apple tree. That means the apple tree is chapter 1. Even though it doesn't say chapter 1, we know it is because it's the top of the list. Then it says it starts on page 2. So if I said, what page does the chapter At the Movies start on? So you'd go through, you'd find which of these chapters is called At the Movies. So this one. You go all the way to the right, and it says it starts on page 15. So here are a few more examples of table of contents. The one on the right is actually one for a recipe book. And then the one on the left is a table of contents for a book about trains. So we can go through and we see Train Tricks starts on page 18, or Freight Train starts on 28. So this is just breaking down your chapters to let you know, if I'm reading about chapter 3 today, I find chapter 3, full steam ahead, I go to page 8. Our next text feature is the index. Now, the index is not typically found in a book that you're reading for fun, like a chapter book like that. You'll typically find it in your science textbook or in your history textbook, your math textbook, places like that, you'll see it. And the index is at the end of your book, and it's topics that are found within the book. So if I'm in my science book and I want to know more about hurricanes, then I'm going to go to the back of the book. I find the letter H. So you see up here A, B, C, D, E, and it goes in alphabetical order. I find H. I go down to the number or the word hurricane, and I see all these page numbers next to it. Those are the page numbers that topic is talked about on. So, for example, we wanted to find more about acorns. So I find acorns in our index. I see they're on page 5 and page 12. So then I go through the book, I find page 5, I read all about the acorns on that page, and then I flip to page 12 and I read all about the acorns on that page. This is super helpful if you're maybe writing a report on a different or on a specific topic, such as like this one. Maybe you're writing a report on ants. So you see on page 1 and page 47 is where you can find more information. So you go to those pages, figure out your information, and that can help you write maybe a report or a paper or just learn more about that topic. Here are some more examples. So we can see plants for this one on the top left. The plants is talked about on page 16 and page 17. But South Africa is talked about on page 5 and then again on page 28. So it's not pages 5 through 28, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, it's only on page 5 and then again on page 28. Then we have heading. So the heading is how we separate different sections within our paper or within our book. This is not the same as a chapter. This is just like if you've got maybe this particular article that we're reading about. The heading is all about fish, but maybe the title of the whole thing is underwater creatures. So then it tells us a little bit, this paper is about underwater creatures, maybe a little introductory paragraph. And then we see all about fish. And then we know the paragraphs that follow this are only about fish. That's it. It's not going to talk about cows. It's not going to talk about dogs. It's only going to talk about fish. And then there's probably going to be another heading. So the next one will look just like this. It'll be bold. It'll be bigger than all the other paragraphs. But it'll say maybe all about turtles or all about crabs, all about dolphins, all about sharks. So you can do this in different headings. And that really it just separates your paper or the report that you're reading into sections. So here's another example. So this book is all about different planets, right? So the heading for this page is Earth. Now, I know everything on this page is only going to be about Earth. The whole book is all about planets, but this one page is only Earth. And then the next page is Mercury. I can see that because of the heading. This page is only about Mercury, nothing else. And that is it for our text features for today. You've got a Google form that I need you to complete. It looks a little something like, oh, I don't have it pulled up. Well, it looks a little something like the pretest that you did yesterday, except a little bit smaller. There's only about 4 or 5 questions on it. They're going to look just like the text features that we did today. So if you are going through your Google form and you're like, oh, I don't remember that text feature, go back, watch this video. There's a couple different examples for each text feature, and we'll talk about more tomorrow. All right, see ya.